Good morning, everybody. We are back here after Yontif. You are listening to Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Siegel Network. I am so excited. It's been ages since we've been here. It is after Chag when you are listening to this. I feel like so much time has gone by. And we are thrilled to be back on air with a brand new show. Always exciting. I love my job and I love meeting all the great people. We've had so far season 6 has been rocking and rolling and eating, a lot of eating. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Naomi Nachman. I'm about all the food all the time. I know I can hear you say it in your sleep. I'm a kosher personal chef, cookbook author. I give cooking classes, run chop competitions, anything food related I'm somehow involved with, which is a little crazy. I want to hear about your food experiences too. How was Yontif? Did you make anything from my book? Let me know. Or anything you made on your own or ate somewhere that was fun or went somewhere that was fun. Let me know because I'd really love to hear this. Coming Sunday is the Crown Heights Food Crawl. So excited for that. We had the guys on the air a couple of weeks ago, took home like 4 burgers because we couldn't eat any more after that great show. But we're really excited to continue and talk. And we have an amazing lineup. Just before we talk about my guests, I just want to do a quick restaurant roundup. It's been a little while since I've done one. We spoke about on last show, we spoke about Memphis and how fabulous the Memphis restaurant was in. It's actually located in the JCC. But I really loved it. And of course, Ricky's Cookies. But now let's give Toronto, St. Louis and Brooklands some shout outs. In Toronto, I went to 2 places a couple of weeks ago. Went for a family wedding. And I ate at a place called The Pantry. Absolutely fabulous. Really out of the box dairy restaurant, which I really appreciate. I feel like they all serve the same food, but this was really different. So if you're in Toronto, or maybe just go there to eat. I don't know. You know me. I would travel anywhere to eat. So go try out The Pantry. And Hermes Bakery, I hope I'm saying that correctly. They had a kokosh cake that was to die for. Chocolate oozing out, owned by my friend's family, Fakey Grossman's family, long-time Torontonian family, if that's how you say it. And I just absolutely squeezed out that babka, from the kokosh cake. That chocolate filling was insane. People had told me about it, and then I got to try, and it was absolutely fabulous. Okay, St. Louis, the Ted Drew's ice cream. Deanie Klein had told us about it. Deanie's originally from St. Louis. Now she's in Florida. We miss her terribly. Sending you kisses, Deanie from New York. It's at Ted Drew's. He was a not Jewish guy, who owned a massive ice cream place out in St. Louis. Iconic, looks like the 1960s. If you had gone onto my Instagram stories, you will have seen how fantastic that place is. Looks so Americana. And the guy had heart surgery, and his doctor was Jewish. And the doctor, he's after he had a great recovery, Ted said to his doctor, "What can I do for you?" And he said, "Make your Ted Drew's ice cream kosher," and he did. And it has become just such a popular thing, a hangout for Jews and non-Jews alike, to eat incredible, that it's not really called ice cream, it's called custard. Because I think the high percent of fat, if it has more than a certain, like Rita's ice cream, it has more than a certain amount of fat, it's actually called custard, not ice cream. So there you go, little health fact there, or non-health fact. Shout out to Meraki in Flatbush, right off Kings Highway. Amazing food by Chef Mayor Elioz. Everyone go follow him. Go to Meraki. It's actually parv, or Sephardic, Moroccan, Israeli food. Brilliant. It's one of the best Israeli restaurants outside of Israel. And to my dear good friend, I saved the best for last, Chayser Elina and her husband Shlomi opens up. It's called Breadberry Local. It's not the supermarket. Let's not get it confused. It is amazing. It's a cafe inside an office building in Borough Park. Salads, soups, sushi, wraps, yogurt bar, granola bar, overnight muesli. You name it, they've got it. Dairy pastries. Why would you have par of pastries when you in a milchik restaurant? Like, amazing. So everybody, please go follow Breadberry Local and go eat there. It's actually might even be worth a trip to Borough Park for. Seriously, you just have to find parking. Yeah. But I just wanted to do a little restaurant roundup while it's the Chagim are over and we don't want to think about cooking. We can actually go out to eat. So give them a little shout out. So let's go back a couple of weeks in time. My good friend, Chef Eitan Banath, a friend of the Nachum Segal Network, has been on the studio at least 4 or 5 times, is joining me today on the phone because Chef Eitan's actually in 10th grade. So he couldn't make it in. So we dragged him out of the kitchen. And we are thrilled to have him on air. He's back at school because he had so much time off from school over the Chagim that he couldn't come in. So we're going to have him today over the phone. We'll have him in the studio again. Welcome, Chef Eitan Banath.
Hi, Naomi. How are you?
Good. You are a superstar beyond words.
Thank you. You too.
Oh, no. You are too kind, but really, you are the superstar. You grew like 10,000 followers over the summer.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was with a lot of really cool people, got a lot of exposure, and I just did a lot of working hard, and yeah, it really's been paying off.
You know, it's amazing when you say working hard. This kid is, I don't want to call it a kid. It's not. He's a young adult because he's wise and knows so much and has deep insight into everything. And Eitan, you are amazing.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the highlight of last month because I guess now it's 3-4 weeks later after the show has aired. Tell us about how you ended up on Food Network.
So, as you might have remembered, back when I was 11, this goes way back. Back when I was 11, I had just filmed my episode of Chopped, but it hadn't come out yet, so I couldn't tell anyone. And I'd met Guy Fieri at a book signing for one of his books, and there were hundreds of people there, so I couldn't tell him I was not to tell anyone, but he is Guy Fieri, so I'm sure I could have told him. He's one of the most famous Food Network stars. But there were hundreds of people there, so I couldn't tell him. But when I met him, I totally dressed up as him. The part before, I dressed up like him. I had his whole wig, his goatee, glasses, chef jacket, everything. And I wore that there. And he flipped out. He put on his sunglasses on me, had me sit down in his chair. It was crazy. And so I met him that time. And then about a year ago, I met him again at a book signing. It's kind of just crazy. I heard about it on Instagram. I saw him post about it during the school day that he was doing a book signing at Barnes & Noble in Paramus, I believe, or some Barnes & Noble very close to my school. And I now go to the school my mom works at, Frisch, and so I ran to her office. I'm like, Mom, I need to meet Guy Fieri again tonight. So it was a crazy night. So I went and waited online for hours, and then when I met him again, the coolest part was he actually remembered me. I mean, how could he forget my crazy costume? And so I met him again. Finally was able to tell him about Chopped, about my whole cooking career, about my food blog, which was really awesome to tell my idol about that. And then at the end, I had given him my business card and said, if you have time, check out my blog, thinking, he's a super busy guy and everything, probably won't have time. Lo and behold, we're driving home, and literally no less than 20 minutes later, I had waiting in my inbox an email from one of his people asking me to be on the show. It was the best. It was the best email subject line in the whole world. It was Guys Grocery Games wants to speak to Eitan per Guy's request, which I flipped out,
screaming screeching.
Yeah, I was literally, me and my mom were on the side of my house. Me and my mom were on the side of the house. Freaking out that,
1 second.
Sorry,
is that you?
The car alarm just went off near me.
Oh, a car alarm.
Me and my mom were freaking out on the side of our house that I got on the show. It was crazy. Then I hadn't gotten the show, but that he asked to interview me for the show. And then so we were freaking out. And then, tons of interviews, emails, different interview questions later. We found out I got on the show, and I was flown out to it was near San Francisco with my mom, and we filmed the episode, which was so much fun. And we filmed the episode, and I was on a super fan episode because I'm a Guy Fieri super fan.
So cool. That is so cool. So we had the episode aired like at Som Gedalia. We literally broke our fasts at the Banath household. Mama Banath made a beautiful milchik meal for us, and Chef Eitan made 3 kinds of sauces for his friends and family. And we watched Eitan. I watched Eitan watch Eitan. I was actually watching you watch yourself.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
I took some pictures of you watching your thing. I have to send them to you. So how was the next day back at school?
It was great. Everyone was super supportive. A lot of people watched it, told me they watched and everything. Yeah, it was really great.
Were you a hero the next day at school? Everybody want your autograph, or they're already like, Eitan, we know you're awesome?
No.
Or like, Eitan, whatever.
No, people
they
thought
know
it was
you.
awesome, yeah.
Like you know, my some of my friends are like, how come everybody knows you? Like, they don't know about the food scene. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
do you have that still? Like, or everybody knows that you're in the food scene, then you have a following?
Everyone in my school, yeah.
It's cool. You're like the cool kid on the block.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about what's next for Eitan Banath.
So what I've got going on now is
Don't say
doing
history.
a lot of work.
History 101 down the hall. You're not going to say that, right?
Oh, actually, I think I have Chumash next.
Okay.
But what I'm going on now is I'm doing a lot of work on my food blogging, my blog. So I do a lot of work on that, doing food photography for different brands like Manischewitz.
That's cool.
I know you're doing some work for them too, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure where we're up to, but we've had a conversation.
So I'm doing that. I'm doing some food photography for them. So a lot of just like recipe developing, different things like that. Also, I just got, the big Instagram account, the feed.
Yeah, I know what that is, but let's explain to the feed to our viewers who aren't so familiar with that. What feed is?
So the feed is like a crowdsourced, the website and Instagram page. They also probably have other social media, but their main thing is their website and their Instagram, and they kind of like highlight different food bloggers and people all over social media and the internet. And on Instagram, they have around 1.3 million followers.
1.3 million. That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so yeah, so I'd done it in the past, but I'd done this in the past, but I just got a regular spot on their Instagram story to do cooking lives and doing like different cooking demo lives. Not live, sorry, like short videos. And, the Instagram story for their account, which is really exciting because that's great exposure and they're a ton of fun to do.
I am so proud and so impressed. We are freaking out for you. That is amazing. Amazing. So what kind of things have you done for them for Feed? What kind of stories, recipes?
I'm blanking out right now. But in the past,
Didn't you do
I've done
pizza?
different recipes from my blog. I think I've done... I'm blanking out right now.
It's okay. He's in the middle of class here, people. Remember, he's in the middle of a school day. This guy is amazing. So I think you did a pizza one once, right?
Oh, yeah. I did like I think I did like perfect margarita pizza, something along those lines. But I've done like, I think at least 4 or 5. But now it's really great. I have a regular spot in there. So I'm not sure if it's like monthly or every other week, something like that. But I'm really excited for it.
It's unbelievable. You just grow, Baruch Hashem, every day. It's amazing watching
Thank you.
And we keep this in perspective, and I'm not putting down, he's young, he's in the 10th grade, and he's managing school, and he does really well in school. Mama tells me, I know Mama Banath, her good friend. Sabrina tells me Eitan is a very good student. This is not like something he'd do because he's not academic. He's a smart boy, so he's just focused and driven, and it's so unusual. What could you say to any of our young audience who wants to do something in any industry? What words of inspiration can you give us, young as the young adults, and even my older listeners? What would you give us? What would you
I would
say to
really
us?
say to everyone, the adults, and I say especially to the kids, but also the adults, anyone at any age, is like really never think your dream or what you want to accomplish is like too big or too crazy. Because like you really, if you work hard for it, like nothing can stop you from achieving your dream. Like don't think, oh, I'm too young to compete on the Food Network. Or let's say you're into sports, oh, I'm too young to try to do professionally, or art. I'm too young to try selling my art. Like your age, or too old. Like your age really, I don't think it defines what you can accomplish.
That's actually very inspirational. I like that. Okay, I hope everyone takes that to heart. Can we just go back a little bit to Food Network? Something that I observed and I want to share with everyone. A lot of people don't have televisions; they couldn't watch it live, but some people had watched it through Instagram. Eitan wore his yarmulke. He didn't take it off and wore a baseball cap to pretend he wasn't Jewish or from. He wore his yarmulke on set so proudly. Such a Kiddush Hashem. I just know that Hashem had so much nachas as well as with the rest of us. But how did you know what to make if you couldn't taste the food? What was the process there? Could you share that with us?
So obviously, like you said, I did wear my kippah, and obviously I also could not taste any of the food. So I was very upfront with them whenever I auditioned for any TV shows. I tell them right away. I don't like try to hide it and then just show up on the show and then not taste anything. Like I let them know, like I can't taste any of the food I make, but I can cook non-kosher things. The only thing that I can't cook, not just taste, is mixing meat and milk. So I'm very upfront with them, so they know they do a lot of research so that they make sure like the challenges they give you, like they want to give me a challenge for making like a Philly cheesesteak sandwich or a cheeseburger because they know I can't.
Right, so I just want to pause that. This is actually something about halacha. I know this because I've got friends who've gone to chef school who could not eat anything. Even if you're not eating it or you're giving it to someone who's not Jewish, you still are not allowed to cook meat and milk together. So
yes, that's what I've been
and they understood that, and respected that.
Yes, totally. They were amazing about that. And then luckily, on the show, we each got a Food Network star mentor to like help us and give us guidance and kind of just like if we have a question or whatever, be in the kitchen. Part of like in the round, guy would let them in the kitchen, actually help us cook. So I did have Artie, my mentor, Artie Sequeira, and she was really great. They didn't show as much. They didn't show it all on the show because remember it's highly edited down. Because it's actually 2 days of filming go into the 1 hour episode. And she was like my taste bud. So she, when I made, for example, the turkey burger, she was the one who took a piece and tasted it to make sure that it was seasoned right. Or she tried the guacamole, she tried my salsa verde, all those different things. So that was really great having her to try it. When I did on Chop and I was 11, I actually didn't have anyone. So that I really was just.
Oh, really? You didn't have someone try the food for you?
Nope. I was just hoping what I put was good.
And you were 11 at the time. Crazy.
Yeah.
I know when Rabbi Hecht did it, he asked one of his fellow contestants to try his food when he was on Chopped.
I don't think I thought of that. I was like so focused on cooking and everything.
Right. Amazing. What a rock star. The summer was amazing for you. Your presence currently, what you're up to right now is amazing. We cannot wait to see what you've got up to. We're going to, Eitan, you got your tickets already for Kosher Feast and Blogger Conference?
Yep. And it's in my calendar.
And it's in the calendar. We're giving you a note from school. We got a busy, exciting day because the rest of the hour on Table for Two is going to be with talking about Melinda on the phone, talking about Jewish Food Media Conference, and Esty Berkowitz in the house, in the studio.
Hi, Esty.
Hi. So we're going to talk to Esty about that also. Eitan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, always. It's funny that we're doing a phone interview. You've always been able to get out of class to get here, but I know it's a bit hard right now, right after the Chagim. So please thank your principal.
And I have a math test today.
Your math test.
Luck.
Isn't your mother the head of the math department? Hello? We couldn't get you out for that?
No, All right.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll do it. We'll do this again soon. Eitan, good luck with everything. Give our best to the kids in Frisch. Congratulations to the whole Frisch school for having you part of their team and doing so well. Eitan, can we tell them? I mean, it's already aired, so we know that Eitan was not the winner of the grand prize, but he was the winner with all of us because he was there. Always. Did you get to take home some prizes?
So we did get to keep. Actually, one thing I brought, I printed out this like canvas print of Guy Fieri because I have different people. Like I hang up a lot of different people I look up to in my room. So I brought that, and after we had finished filming and we were about to leave, I asked if I could see Guy again with it in his trailer, and I talked to him for a minute, and I had him sign that, and also. I had brought him the picture of me dressed up as him with him from the first time I met him, so I gave that to him.
Oh, that's so cute.
Which actually asked me to sign, which was pretty cool.
Oh, that's so cute, Eitan.
And then additionally, me and Austin, the other runner-up, we both got 2,500 as well. Plus, each of the chefs gets to take home this plate signed by all the Food Network stars, which was really awesome.
Okay, that's cool. Really. Hatzlacha rabah for everything. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks at the food trifecta, the kosher food trifecta.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys.
All right. Thanks, Eitan. Regards to your parents.
Oh, thank you. And tell Melinda I say hi when she comes on.
Oh, yeah. Melinda's going to be over the phone.
All right, awesome.
She's not coming into the show. We're going to have Melinda by phone.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thanks, Eitan. Bye. Go do your math test.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Our chef, Eitan Banath. Isn't he amazing, Esty?
I can't believe he's so young.
I know, right?
And so skilled. And
knows
what to do.
He's a wise old soul.
He really is.
You know, he used to
great family, too.
Yeah, great
really
family.
Nice.
Mum and Dad are so supportive. The schools are so supportive. We went to the viewing party with the Strausses, and some of his rebellion came also from Frisch. It's just really inspirational, and to have that keeper on his head. And as I said, like he could have won a baseball cap easily.
He did the right thing.
And he did the right thing. He was too cool for school, that kid.
Really
okay,
incredible.
Eitan, thank you for being an inspiration to me and
the elders.
Everyone in the industry. Wow.
Not just the kids.
Yeah, so follow along, Chef Eitan Banath. Okay,
yes.
Cool. This is Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Siegel Network, right here on the Lower East Side. It is a fantastic hour that we're having. We've started off with a big kickoff with Eitan. Okay, I have Esty Berkowitz in the studio. We were supposed to have Melinda Strauss in as well in the studio, and she was going to be my ride home. Yes. Back, because Melinda and I live in the same neighborhood, and I came early this morning by train because I went to the farmer's market first. Whenever I can, I try to go to Union Square just to walk around and spend. Some people spend a lot of money on candy and nash. I spend a lot of money on fruits and vegetables because I love seasonal fruits and vegetables from local farmers. And I kind of bought a lot of stuff and waiting for Melinda after the studio. She was going to drive me back. But poor Melinda's not feeling well. So, refuah shalema to you, Mel, and feel better. So, we're going to bring Melinda onto the phone in a little bit. But every year we try to get together. I think we've already done a little interview earlier on in the year. But now, as we get closer.
We are getting closer.
This is airing October 20th. So, Kosher Fair we're talking about 4 weeks away.
Very close.
Be'erech, give or take. So it's really exciting. Esty, you are the founder, along with your friend, our friend, Roberta Scher.
Yes.
Out there in
Atlanta,
Georgia.
Yep.
Atlanta.
Yep.
When did you start Kosher Feast?
Well, we're in our 7th year.
7, wow. I think I've been to, four or five of them. I think I missed the first 2.
You did. Because the first one really was in a conference room at the Javits. I mean, yeah.
At the Javits Center.
Not the Javits, in the Meadowlands. Sorry. Secaucus. That's when originally there was no Instagram. There was really Twitter. And we kind of reached out online to say who's going to be at Kosher Fest. So we found out, and we had a conference room upstairs. So that was really the beginning.
Was there feasting involved?
There was food, and I can't remember what it was. But it was great. So the whole thing really evolved, and the next year we grew and we went to a restaurant, and we sold out, and then we had to continue growing because more and more people came onto the scene. More and more people were discovering that they wanted to use a platform to showcase their talents, their skills, their passions. So we now are in our 7th year, and we plan to have an extraordinary event with incredible people who, in fact, Shannon Sarna, she came to the second one, and she's come every year, and that's before the Nasher. She had just started with the Nasher. So who knew that she was going to become a cookbook author and a personality, making these videos. So it's so nice to see, like she even said, that's where she met, I believe, Ali Ravati, who is Dinner in Venice, who I haven't heard much from lately. But in those days, the group wasn't so big.
Right, it was small. Right, Alexandra Ravati.
Alexandra.
Yeah, Alexandra, I'm drawing a blank. Yeah.
She, and Liz Rouvain came, and, we had, of course, Lois Held and Roberta, but we all really discussed what it was about us that maybe was missing in what we were doing. So the network and the community started, and then it just kept growing. And as you see, you wouldn't have your show at that point.
There was no table for two.
There was no table for two.
This is our sixth season. I joined halfway through the first.
I remember because I came on and you had Elon and Abby Wolin. Remember?
Oh my God. Yeah, Abby, not too shabby. Yeah, that'll be great. Thank you.
It was really early on. So I just want to thank you, Naomi, for being an MC extraordinaire.
Oh,
and not just that, but you have a lot of marketing insight. You have you're on the pulse of what's happening.
Not bad for a kindergarten teacher, right?
Who knew? Kindergarten. I think you learn everything in kindergarten. Isn't there a book about that?
Well,
everything I need to know I learned in kindergarten. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a skill.
I started right here on the Lower East Side teaching kindergarten. CK, I have a question for you.
So all those kindergarten teachers, don't give up. You never know where you're going to be.
Where you're going to be. I love That's my first love is kindergarten teaching. Right here at the MTJ and then at the Educational Alliance. CK, didn't you go to MTJ?
You did? Wow.
Yeah. And was I Mora there when you were there? No. I was long gone, probably. I'm way older than him.
No, you really have.
Thank you. I'm like, I don't know.
Been there, looking out for us, critiquing, which is really important.
Yeah, I say it like how it is.
And I'm actually, my personality is very, the nice Midwest girl. Because, I'm from the suburbs of Chicago. But nevertheless, being in New York, these amount of years that I have, it's helped. Been here now 15 years.
I'm here 25.
Okay. Got 10 years on me, so maybe in 10 years. But this whole thing...
You'll say it how it is.
Yeah. Really what started with Kosher Feast is because I had gone to other conferences for mom bloggers because that's really where I started.
You need to tie that in, Esty. Esty's an amazing mummy blogger, and I'm just going to... She gets flown by Disney to go to Disney World to blog about Disney. That's how big Esty is, okay? Let's put things into perspective.
And it's who you know. It's actually the beauty of these opportunities comes from meeting people in person, making a connection, and following up because you never know who might have a need to have somebody go to an event. And that the trip was actually for the opening of Fantasyland, the new Fantasyland in Magic Kingdom. It was phenomenal. Those experiences, but as a mom blogger who just so happens to be kosher, they were accommodating. So I always have a high respect for these big mainstream companies and corporations who didn't mind. Look at Eitan Barnett. It's okay. You're kosher, so come on the Food Network. And other people, Deanie Delivers, and people really making those connections in mainstream. Amy Kreitzer, What You Want to Eat. She's working, I see, with Pottery Barn. There's a crossover. Okay, so mom blogger, but also kosher feeder in the home, right? So all of these things contribute to why Kosher Feast had to start because I, as an attendee of Blog Her, which I'm sure you've heard of, it's a major
What is it?
Major mom blog conference.
I don't know anything about it. Tell
me. this conference is huge. And
It's called Blog
Her
instead of
yeah,
Blogger. It's
get
a
it?
pun,
Blog
get it?
Her.
Okay.
And I have to give a shout out to Beth Rosen.
Oh, your sister.
Oh my gosh, she's the one that told me to start a blog. She said, "Show your story," because I didn't grow up religious at all. It happened in my 30s. So there's a story there, obviously. What happened all those 30 years? Well, you'll have to read the blog to find out.
PrimetimeParent.com.
Prime time. Look what Eitan said. Don't give up on your dreams. In my 30s, I switched my whole life around, started keeping kosher, traded in my pants for skirts. My family thought I was nuts, really. And they worried most about, guess what, eating out at restaurants. Where are we going to eat? Because that's a big Jewish thing. We always went out to restaurants all the time. It was
Even if Jewish but not kosher, we still have the
Not
same
kosher.
culture.
But now I had to introduce, well, kosher is cool. Really? Where are we going to go? In those days, you have to think back. This is 2002. We don't have what we had today, right?
No.
Even in the Chicago area, you had to go all the ways to West Rogers Park to get a slice of pizza. Nothing like what we have today, which
Right.
you follow Naomi's feed and feed yourself because, you're showing the world. St. Louis, who knew they had stuff? I mean, that's not far from me, 6 hours. I could drive there. But this whole transition, and my husband is so funny because he's also in his family the only one. He became observant later in life. And when our parents met each other for the first time, they said, "So if she marries my son, will they go out to restaurants?" That was the conversation. Where are we going to eat? But thankfully, the food scene has evolved. It is gourmet. It's fascinating. I mean, pomegranate, and look,
Pomegranate, breadberry, gourmet glatt, seasons, all of them.
yeah, errands, you could get almost everything. Look at that Indian place in Stamford, Navaratna. I mean, who knew?
That's what St. Louis has, an Indian kosher place, and so does Seattle,
Right.
because it's easy to keep a Indian restaurant kosher.
It is. It's fascinating. So again, oh gosh,
It's all
I wish I had some
vegetarian.
damn water.
Yeah, no, I've had this cough for weeks.
Poor thing. She needs some chicken soup
I need some chicken soup.
right away. Any cures for the common
I know
cold?
there's no more Grand
There's
Deli.
no time for you to have a cold.
Remember
okay?
the Grand Deli or Ratner's?
Oh,
Ratner's, I couldn't get chicken soup. I could get an onion soup, but yeah.
the classic deli. So again, this blog her, I was the only one there. My kosher meal was somewhere lost in the ovens of the hotel. And it was a Shabbos also. So I stayed in the hotel and I walked up and down the stairwell. So there's many stories of people doing that in the mainstream. But most importantly is I saw how brands were getting people together around big events. So why couldn't it be when Kosher Fest is really the biggest event for all the foodies, right? Like, I don't think there's anything else out there. Make an event around it. So that's what we created. And it sells out every year. And people who come have grown and been in Wall Street Journal. I mean, look at Hani Applebaum.
Honey Applebaum, rock star.
Wow, Wall Street Journal, talking about gefilte fish, the main Instagram.
Twice.
Yeah, twice.
Twice on the Wall Street Journal.
Genius. So kosher is not just, it's so funny because I watched you in Memphis, was it? And you showed the kosher section.
Yeah, I walked through the kosher section
It's
at
those typical,
Kroger's.
right, Kroger, which...
Or Schnucks in St. Louis also.
Yeah. But they're getting it. But they can get it more, right? So that's why we have to keep doing what we're doing.
Or Jamie Geller and Winn-Dixie.
Oh, yes.
That's
yes,
Winn
years
Dixie
ago.
gets it. Shout out and kisses to Jamie.
Absolutely. So here we're setting the trends. People like you're noticed by mainstream brands. People want you to come to their places when you're sharing a story. And that's what this network of bloggers and food people and chefs and cookbook authors and the brands that want to reach them, that's what Kosher Feast is about.
So if you're a blogger, now we're not talking like www.Aussie Gourmet, etc. Or, right? You don't have to have the website. You can be an Instagram blogger. That's what I'm going to...
Instagram is a platform.
An Instagram blogger. So we're calling, and we'll talk about that to Melinda about the conference in a few minutes. We'll get Melinda on the line. But so in the morning, there's I call it Melinda's conference, the Jewish
Melinda
food
Kitchen Dash tested, but it's
Jewish
Food Media
Jewish
Conference.
Media Conference, formerly Kosher Food Bloggers Conference.
Exactly.
Okay, and then in the evening it becomes, let's clarify everything. In the evening, it then turns into Kosher Feast, where Esty has said that where everybody who's in the food media industry gets to connect with each other and certain companies. And if you know of a company, it's not too late. They are still taking sponsorships.
Absolutely.
They want to come in and work and connect with bloggers on a private level, on a smaller level. Right. Kosher Fest the next day is big and huge, and people flying from all over the world. It's very hectic. This is a little bit smaller. It's more intimate. It's so you can come to that. So we start off our morning with Melinda. We end our day off with Esty at Kosher Feast. Now, it's going to be at the Brooklands Children's Museum.
Jewish Children's Museum.
What did I say? The
Jewish
Children's Museum in Brooklyn.
In Crown Heights.
In Crown Heights. And when Esty and I was helping Esty out with some planning, and we kind of got together at my house. I think I made shakshuka and sourdough.
Best kind of meetings.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And we were saying we're too big for a restaurant. The restaurants cannot really hold the crowd. We're up to 120 people. We want to have movement. We want people to literally physically move around the room and network.
Absolutely.
Right? But we're too big for a catering hall. We don't need the
small.
Eden Palace in Williamsburg or the Sands. We're somewhere in the middle. So I know that this idea hit me that, a lot of events happen in museums. I've gone with my husband to some events for his profession in at museums. So why don't we make it at the museum? Night at the museum. Let's have a night at the museum. And then I thought, I bet you they have an AV room or something that we can have the Melinda's portion, the Jewish Food Media Conference, and it can all be at one place. And then I thought, Brooklyn Children's Museum, and it's in Crown Heights, and that's where the world's best food is.
The best.
So, outside of Yerushalayim, I'm just saying. And then it kind of all came together so beautifully. Melinda loved the idea. The rabbi liked the idea. Chani Apfelbaum helped put it all together
she
because
connected us.
The library was built in her brother's memory.
Yep.
So it just all
we went to visit together.
All came,
very meaningful.
It was an amazing way that it came together. And we're going to talk a little bit now to Melinda about Chani Greenbaum from Chani Greenbaum Events. She is coordinating the room. We had to pick just the right caterer.
Absolutely.
And we spoke to some amazing caterers, and each one gave us a proposal. But we liked really working with Levi Fagenson.
Know the crowd.
And we are going from
Table One
Catering. Follow them on Insta.
Wait till you see what they have.
We have an amazing menu. Get your tickets now.
Right. And I just want to add one thing. In between the Kosher, the Jewish Food Media Conference and Kosher Feast, there will be an opportunity with Maspia, Alex Rappaport, to help put together packages that will be used for the people in need. They filled millions of people, not just Jewish people.
So you'll be able to come and do a mitzvah, partake in Maspia.
Absolutely.
And work with Maspia, as well as learn and educate yourself at the
feast.
Jewish Food Media Conference. And then feast in the evening, feast and connect and really, and then the next day is 2 more days of Kosher Fest coming up. And it's really just something very, very, very special. We're on the phone, yeah?
Hey, Melinda.
Okay.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Mel. How you feeling, honey?
Oh, just dandy.
Oh, man. Well, Refuah Shalema, everybody on the air knows you're not feeling well and you left me stranded in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Just joking. No, they know
I would love to come in. I always love our days. We always make it more than just a radio show.
You sit tight. You get better because we need you to get better. We've got the food conference coming up in a couple of weeks, so we need you to get your strength back.
Won't be a problem.
Okay, so Esty and I were just filling everyone in about the history of the Kosher Feast, and talking a little bit about that and building up all the hype and the food and the reasons why everybody needs to come to this, that in the industry and that wants to be in the industry or just meet all your fellow foodies.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's talk about one of the most important things. We love the food part and we love the connecting part, but really let's talk about the educational component of the day. I call these 3 things the kosher trifecta.
Yeah.
The Jewish Food Media Conference, Kosher Feast, and Kosher Fest. We've got 3 things going on in 1 week. Amazing. Let's talk about the history of the Jewish food media, formerly known as
The Kosher Food Bloggers Conference.
Okay,
exactly.
So talk about a little bit about the history.
Well, it all began, Naomi, with your cousin and myself, which I love.
Shelley!
Big shout out to Shelley Serber. The two of us, I guess it's 6 years ago at this point, or even more than that, were actually commiserating about how there really wasn't this community within our, within our kosher blogger world. There were most of the bloggers. I mean, many of the bloggers hadn't even started yet. This was still really early on in the kosher blogger game.
Was there
and
Instagram
we were all
yet?
starting to meet.
There was no Instagram yet.
No, there was no Instagram at that point.
It was basically www dot whatever.
And Twitter and Facebook.
And Facebook.
Right.
So the two of us had noticed that outside of the Jewish world and the kosher world, we had met some really great bloggers through Facebook that we were building these communities with and building, like I knew I was building Kitchen Tested with all these bloggers that weren't in my Jewish world, which was fine, and there's some amazing friends that I've made, but I realized it was something that was missing from our Jewish world, within specifically for bloggers. So we decided we're going to put together a conference. We're going to get everyone together in one room, and we're really going to focus on branding, because especially at the beginning of your blog, it's what do I even want from this? Is this a hobby? Is this going to be a job? Do I want to make this full time? How do I make money doing this? What is SEO? Because really,
I still don't know.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And there's so many people when you start out, it's really a question of how do I get started? So we put together the first Kosher Food Bloggers Conference, and it was a great success. I didn't know what to expect or who would be there. I was just starting to meet all these people, and it really was so much fun that I couldn't help. I had to do it again. And that's really where it started, was realizing that this many people, and it was I think around 60 people that were there, wanted to learn more about how to grow their blogs and their businesses. And that's where it all began.
What kind of speakers do you have?
So we've had speakers, we've had photography speakers, and we've had, again, people talk about search engine optimization, how to get people to come to your blog, what is your brand, thinking of even as things like the name of your blog, right? The name of, nowadays, even with Instagram and everything else, it's figuring out how to brand yourself, how to, things like about writing cookbooks and doing video shoots. It's really run the gamut, but it's really, again, it all comes back to different ways of building your brand and making money doing it.
Making money, yes.
Making money, which, and you know what it comes down to is when you put in the effort and you put in the time and you're helping other people, it's nice to be rewarded for it. Right. And the reward comes, obviously, from when we hear from people and they tell us when they love our recipes and when we're really changing people's perspective on the kitchen. But it's really nice when you're putting that much effort into, to actually get paid. It's a job.
No, I love it. People say, why are you busy so Instagram all the time? I'm like, during the day, because it's my job. You're busy with your job during the day. I'm busy with my job, and my job, huge part of it is Instagram. How to monetize
and what's really
your
interesting
Instagram.
Is I just had a conversation with someone yesterday who I reached out to on Instagram, someone I've never spoken to. I've actually been following her for a little while, and I reached out. I said, hey, you're going to Kosher Fest. And she's like, I never really thought about it. And we had this whole conversation. We switched over to WhatsApp from Instagram just so we could really have a deeper conversation. What'd you say?
No, right. No.
Oh, yeah. So one of the things that I asked her, I really actually asked her, I was telling her all these ideas that I had of ways she could make money. I had no clue. I didn't ask her, are you making money with what you're doing? And it turns out that she said to me, I'm not actually making money with what I do yet, but I'd like to.
That's it.
And I said, beyond Kosher Fest, you got to come to the conference, because when going to Kosher Fest, that we love walking around, meeting with brands, hanging out with our fellows in our industry, and
taking
making
selfies,
and just having fun, and just being on Instagram. It's just such a fun word, especially for the three of us. It's also promoting our sponsors for our events, but for someone coming to Kosher Fest who's within our world, it's so great the day before meeting everybody.
Right.
Knowing who you're going to see, and also knowing before you walk into Kosher Fest, how am I going to present myself to the brands that are standing behind those tables?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that, to me, is what's so important, is knowing what you want from your, whether it's a job or a hobby, knowing what you want from it so that when you talk to these different brands, and especially with new products out, that you can introduce yourself and sell yourself and make yourself valuable to them.
No, it's true, and I really hope this is open to anyone. These are not Kosher Fest is for professionals and people in the industry.
Yes,
right, and they're making it much tougher this year than they've ever done before
for the press,
for the press or for anyone. They don't want people just coming into the world's biggest kiddish.
a fresh
fest.
Yeah,
They want you in the industry, legit, and they're going to check you out. If you're in the industry, kosherfest.com, it's a place to go.
Oh, absolutely.
But for this event, for Jewish Food Media Conference, and why did you switch the name, Melinda?
So before this year, it was the Kosher Food Bloggers Conference, and we took a hiatus last year. I took a hiatus from the event, was doing construction, and there was just a lot going on. And what ended up happening was that so many people were reaching out and saying, "What's happening to the conference? Are you going to do it again next year?" And I was like, you know what? I'm doing it again. And what I realized is over the course of that full year that we took a break, Instagram has become everything. I mean, it is boss. It is like
it's the boss.
It is. It's just it's such a huge part. It's not even just I'm a blogger and I have an Instagram account. Instagram is where people are using Instagram as their blog. So I realized that calling it a Kosher Food Bloggers Conference not only sets us, makes it small where it's only for people who consider themselves to have a blog, whereas maybe they're just on Instagram and looking to grow there. But it also, by calling it kosher versus Jewish, I was closing it off to people who maybe, who were saying, well, am I kosher enough for you? I don't keep kosher, but I, the recipes that I make are all Jew. I live a life where I don't keep kosher, but I'm traditional or I'm Jewish in this way or that. Like it was too closed in with that word kosher.
Right, and people thought only Haimish food or Chavis roll, or it's open to anyone who's in the Jewish
world. Yeah. It was very funny because speakers in the past, we've had speakers who weren't Jewish before, never an issue, and I've had people who've asked, like, is it okay if I come if am I not kosher? And I kind of giggle a little bit because I'm like, of course, but really the name was making people feel like maybe they couldn't come.
Right. We want everyone to feel welcome to come. I think that's great. And I think, if you're thinking about it, you just want to learn, this is the event for you, the
and
day for you.
There's no rule. I don't have it you have to have a certain number of followers or have been doing this for a certain amount of time. You're on Instagram, you have 200 followers, but this is something you want to build on. You want to turn this into a full-time job. You want this to be a hobby that can make a little bit of money, or even if you just want to learn more, or, if you're in our industry and you want to meet more people in our industry.
No,
in a smaller setting where it's not, Kosher Fest is incredible, but it's huge. So it's an effort to find your friends sometimes. Even Naomi, we walk around together and we lose each other and we know each other. So imagine trying to find, I remember the first year I went to Kosher Fest, and it was Leah Shapira from Cook Kosher, now from Between Carpools. And I remember, and that's actually when I met Hani Applebaum from Busy in Brooklyn also. And it was this whole, how do we all find each other? We had no clue. And I wanted to meet Leah. We've had all these great conversations. And it was big effort back then, especially to find each other in this huge room. So having this event where we can all see each other before and suddenly our faces are all recognizable. And the truth is, this is one more thing even to add, that we grow as bloggers or as social media influencers when we work together.
Right. There should be no jealousy. There should be none of that. And there is none of that.
We build each other up.
We build each other up. You can't, there's an expression in real estate. It's called retail gravitational pull, right? So if you have a store, just say in the Bowery, that's one store that has that sells lighting, right? No one's really going to come to the Bowery to look for a lighting store. And I'm using this for an example because it's real, and I'm near the Bowery right now on the Lower East Side. There are 15,000 million trillion lighting stores on the Lower East Side at the Bowery. Because you create a whole bunch of stores, it becomes a destination, and you come. So basically it's the same thing. We build each other up, just like the lighting stores do. we build each other up, and you find the right person that works for you. Not every lighting store has the right lighting for your house. Not every blogger is the right blogger for your company. Am I making a good analogy here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more than that too. Because
Right, you want to connect with the right person for your brand. There's so many people to choose from. They're all there. People are going to want to come.
But the difference with a lighting store is that you want to leave with one light to go hang up in your house, right? Whereas here, there's never really, especially not just for brands, but if you're just someone who is looking for recipes, you don't need one website to find recipes. You want to find recipes on multiple websites to have variety.
Right, no, but my point is it's one location to meet all the different sites.
Stop shopping.
Right, it's the retail gravitational pull. You come to the area, and the area is
and you're going to find
kosher food, Jewish food media, and Kosher Feast, I guess.
Yes, with that for sure. Yes, you're going to be there, and especially, well, you know, if there with any brands listening, it's that same thing where when we look for sponsors, it's not we're not taking advantage of anyone. We're not saying give us your money and then nothing happens. We're bringing in these brands because everyone is in one place. All the people that you as a brand were searching through Instagram for, or calling it one blogger and saying, "Hey, can you help me?" Here you go. Here's a silver platter of 75 to 100 social media influencers that actually want to work with brands. Here you go.
Right, and the email won't get deleted from your press release.
Yeah.
Now you have a name and a connection.
And a face, a beautiful face.
Yes.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, that's a big one too, is when people do sponsor and they, you know, sometimes they're like, okay, I'm just going to go throw something in the swag. I'm like, you should come too. So that there's not just that food in the swag bag, but your face is now connected with that. And you introduce yourself as the person with that product in the swag bag, and everyone will recognize that face. And then assuming that you've got that booth at Kosher Fest the next day, that relationship builds a day later. It's not even just waiting for them to get a hold of you or things like that. They're literally you're face-to-face for 3 days in a row.
Right.
Love it. Absolutely love it. It's great. It's a great event. We encourage people to come. Mel, you go first. Tell everyone how you get tickets for Jewish Food Media, because they're selling like hotcakes.
Oh,
this is October.
Really
this is airing. This is October 20th. Okay, people, you're listening to this October 20th.
Yes,
the tickets are going crazy. We don't have probably at this point not many left.
We still have a little bit of space. Don't worry.
Okay.
But we have our early bird going on right now. And
no,
that's
you
don't.
The best, early birds. What date does the early bird end, Mel? Remember, today's October 20th.
The last day of October.
The last day of October is the early bird. Okay, so we get that in, peeps.
Yes, jewishfoodmedia.com.
Okay, let's just say one more thing. The conference is November 13th. Yes. I don't think we ever said that.
Oh, that's funny. The conference.
We know when it is, but you don't know when it is, Pete.
Well, it's the same day as Kosher Feast, so I don't know if you guys mentioned that, but we are clearly the three of us working together to build an incredible day of education and leading right into just like a monster, amazing, delicious food social scene where everyone can then, actually talk it out and talk to brands and just really make friends and have fun and eat really good food.
Good food.
Really good foods.
I don't know if you guys mentioned Masbia.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, man.
With Masbia in between. So you get to get an education, talk to new people, and do a mitzvah. So everybody wins.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely.
So it's jewishfoodmedia.com, and right there at the top it says register, so you can't miss it.
And Esty, Kosher Feast. How do people find out about Kosher Feast?
We have a group on Facebook that people can message. If you're interested and we don't have your email, please go to Kosher Feast on Facebook, and it will ask you if you join. This is for food people, people in the industry. Also, you can email kosherfeast@gmail.com.
There's an Eventbrite, right? There's
Where's the Eventbrite?
The Eventbrite also.
That's going to be in the group also,
yes,
right?
there's going to be links on the group.
Yes. Okay. There's links in the group.
Exactly. And on Instagram, Kosher Feast.
Kosher Feast.
Kosher Feast on Instagram.
Yes.
You're very busy on Instagram. It's good. I love it.
We love Instagram.
I posted a little from on Kosher Feast when I was away this summer.
Sometimes we have takeovers.
Yeah. You know what? Even that's become really big. I've been doing a lot of takeover recipes for different companies. This is your chance to meet people and to meet companies that may want to work with you. So
and,
you get to be with us.
When we're educating, one of the things we will be talking about is these different ideas of how to work with brands through Instagram, through blogging, because a lot of times we go into this and go, I have no idea how to make that money. And, right now specifically, like you said, with Instagram takeovers, it's just one really great example of how brands and bloggers can work together.
Okay.
So on Instagram specifically, it's being able to approach someone with a brand and give them the idea, right? I can't remember who it was who said it a few years ago at one of the conferences, that you want to give the brand the ideas, not say, hey, I want to work with you, but here's what I want to do to build your business.
Here's what I can do for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, exactly. It's giving them the value of working with you. So a great example of that would be, it's Naomi Nachman saying to that company, I do Instagram takeovers, and I do them all the time and look at how they benefit those companies. Let's do that together. So that's just a great example of one of the things that we'll be talking about at the conference, and one of the things that you can then take into Kosher Feast and Kosher Fest when you're working it.
When you're walking around. And also, it doesn't end there. We keep in touch. We are active on our groups, on our Instagram.
I love the groups.
Right. We want you to share your success with us, after the conference and all year round,
I love those Facebook groups because they become people's family. Some of them have put out too much personal stuff. They put out too much personal stuff. Settle down, people. Settle down.
Both Kosher Feast and the Jewish Food Media groups are very happy groups.
Yeah,
there's not really a lot of crazy that happens in them. There's a lot of happy groups out there, and it's just also keeping track of everything that's being posted and making sure it's all professional. And
it's cheerleading someone who's done well, like when Hani was on the Wall Street Journal, or Sruli Edelman became pastrami king, right?
The brisket
king. Sorry, pastrami. Oh, you know why I said pastrami? Because on the downtown Manhattan, there's a restaurant called Pastrami King.
Oh, how funny. Well, he does make
I don't even know if it's kosher, but I know there is one. Yeah, so the brisket king, or, when someone does something, everyone really cheers each other on. I think it's really phenomenal that it's such a great industry.
With Eitan recently.
Eitan, oh my God.
Really exciting.
Mel, Eitan was on the show at the beginning. You'll hear, when the show airs, you'll hear it.
That's what it's for. Like you said, no jealousy. Support your people. Be happy for them. And you never know, they may need someone to replace them somewhere, like to go do a demo somewhere. This is what the network is about, right?
Yes. Yes,
good relationships amongst the group and with the community and the brands.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all big fans of, clearly we're all big fans of this day, and we want everyone to be there too.
Yeah.
No matter how big or small, as long as you're within our industry and you want to learn and you want to meet other people in the industry and build your company, whatever that may be.
Fantastic.
You should be there.
Be there. Okay. Thank you so much, Melinda. And
feel better.
And 2 years ago, ZK and I went down as part of the Nachum Segal Network, and we interviewed all these great bloggers, right? Remember that, ZK? I can't believe that's 2 years ago already. So this year it's in Brooklands. We look forward to meeting and greeting and tweeting and what's the expression? Meet, greet, tweet?
Repeat.
So we look forward to seeing. We look forward to seeing everyone there. But this has been a great show.
Yes,
Eitan Banath
really
and Melinda
fun.
Strauss, Misty Berkowitz in
Thank
the house
you.
right there
Thank
with me
you.
in the hot seat. Always fun to have these friends and colleagues in the studio with us. ZK, I can't believe we're well into October. It's going fast. We've got music sponsored by our friends at Kedem coming up. But first we have the Erev Shabbat show with Mark Zomick, which is going to air right after this, and it also airs on Thursday. If you've missed any of our shows, you can watch or listen to them on YouTube, on our Nachum Segal Net channel, or on our app anytime on the go. Nachum Segal app, and this is Table for Two. So let's sign off, wishing you all Shabbat Shalom, and see you next week. Happy cooking!